Hey, Facebook Live, it's Karen. Courage to change. I know one of my alcoholic friends said something about why am I always just talking to Al-Anon, and I'm not. I'm not. There's a lot of stuff for alcoholics and addicts and the families of the alcoholic addict. This is a family disease. It affects everyone. And if the alcoholic and addict doesn't want help at this time, then I say we help the family. Okay? So there's no prejudice here. I am talking about alcoholism. I am a firm believer that if you understand what is wrong with you, that is the battle. That's the first part. If you can really understand alcoholism and what the problem is, whether it's in you or someone else, it's gonna make it easy. It's gonna make it much easier for everybody. Okay, everybody's gonna have a much better opportunity to recover. So right now, I'm going to talk about Courage to Change, June 26th. I'm going to read it. Haven't read it yet, and let's discuss. Forgiveness can be just a change of attitude. I've never considered that. I like that. I'm going to read it again. Forgiveness can be just a change of attitude. I came to Al-Anon full of bitterness toward the alcoholic in my life. When I realized that my bitterness hurt me more than anyone else, I began to search for another way to view my situation. A shift of perception, I think they're talking about. In time, I came to believe that my alcoholic loved one might be the messenger my higher power used to let me know that I needed to get help. It is not fair to shackle her with credit or blame for the amount of time it took me to pay attention to that message. I chose to tolerate a great deal of unacceptable behavior because I was unwilling to admit that I needed help. I did the best I could with the tools and knowledge I had at hand, and I believe that she did too. Eventually, the message got through. I made it to the rooms of Al-Anon, and my life changed in miraculous ways. I don't deny that hurtful things were said and done along the way, but I refuse to carry the burden of bitterness any further. Instead, I am grateful for what I've learned. Today's reminder: I will not allow old resentments to drag me down any longer. I'm building a better and more loving life today. I like this. Forgiveness might be just a change of attitude. I need to do that, right? I like this. I like that forgiveness, that quit blaming others, moving on. You know what I mean? Sometimes I think we get stuck in the who, what, why, where of it. That's kind of the beef. Well, I want to be careful when I say that. It's kind of a beef I have with therapists, not with psychiatrists or psychoanalysts. People need help, and people need therapists. But I like therapists myself that move us to the other side. Okay? It's just like going to an Al-Anon meeting or an AA meeting or an NA meeting or any kind of that kind of meeting. You go to a meeting and they talk about the problem the whole time. Drunkalogs, sad stories. I like to hear about the solution. We all have a sad story, and they're all pretty much the same. The one thing I realized about doing the steps was when I did the steps and I got it down on paper and I read it to someone else, I realized kind of how petty I was. Like, I really thought my problems were different and that I was special. And if you knew this, if you had this person in your life, you'd be miserable too. If you had this person in your life, you would stop doing everything else on the planet and focus on them too, right? But when I put it down on paper and I read it to someone, I realized, oh my God, Karen, you are so petty. This is like the same stuff over and over and over again. I get pissed off and out of control. My control issues, my need to be right, the need to be heard, that kind of shit is just all the same. It just applies to different areas of my life. So it seems like I'm a really complicated person, but really I'm not, right? So once I realized that, I realized I have to let this go. Hanging on to stuff and blaming someone and making sure they hold the responsibility gets me nowhere. Nowhere. And it doesn't help them either. And I can't be useful to anyone else, right? There's a whole bunch of other people. Why is it that it's like a comedian said once? Okay, this comedian I heard. They go to Carnegie Hall and they're on stage and they're performing in front of all these people, and everybody's laughing and having a great time, right? There's thousands and thousands of people in the audience, and everybody's laughing and having a great time. And the comedian looks down, and like right there in the middle, there's one guy, and he's not laughing, right? He's like this, right? Now, all those people in the stands, and the comedian has to focus on that one person. Can't figure out that everybody else is laughing and enjoying themselves. He focuses on that one person. That's the same way I am. If there is something in my life, if there is someone not doing what I think they should be doing, if I'm worried about them, I think this should be going this way, right? Or you're blaming me for something I didn't do, and you're upset with me, or whatever that is, I will focus on that one thing, and all the rest of my life will go to hell. Everybody else in my life does not get any attention because I am worried about that one thing. I'm worried about the one guy who doesn't want to get sober. Why? He's drunk. Leave him alone. He doesn't want to get sober. He'll let you know when he does. Karen, move on. No, I can fix this. I got this. I know what to do if they would just do this. If they would just do this. Oh my God, it's crazy making. And everything else in my life suffers for it. Work, other people, my family, me. I know you've been in this spot, and you get so like micro-focused on something, and all of a sudden it's 4 hours later, and you forgot to get the groceries, and you were supposed to call so-and-so back. Whoops, sorry, I'm trying to run the world. Sorry, I can't take care of dinner tonight because I've decided I'm going to make this happen. It's insane when you say it out loud. I'm laughing because in my head, it makes sense. That is the crazy thing about codependency. In my head, it makes sense. It seems rational. If you were a mother, you would do this too. If this was your husband, you would do this too. If this was your parent, you would do this too, right? I had someone contact me last night. Great conversation. I hope you're watching today, or you'll watch this later. I don't know what time it is. But they contacted me from India. Same situations we have here. No different, right? No different. And you know what the great news was? The answer was simple. First thing, they contacted me. They didn't really contact me directly. I saw them commenting on my memes, my Instagram page, right? They were commenting on the codependency stuff. This is impossible. This doesn't happen. And other people, I didn't have to say anything. I said a couple things like, have you gone to Al-Anon? Have you ever been to Al-Anon? Right? But the rest of the people commenting said, oh, so-and-so, at so-and-so, whatever, you need to go to Al-Anon. Try Al-Anon. Go. It'll change your life, right? I didn't even have to say anything. I introduced the idea. So they contacted me last night on Messenger from India and said the situation was in their family, and it was an adult child in the house with the parents and another adult child. The other adult child just got left by his wife. They're all in the house together. This child is like, okay, his wife left him. Now, why aren't my parents kicking him out? My parents need to do this. My parents need to do that. And I said, well, what do your parents think? Right? What do your parents think? Well, my mom doesn't want to believe he really has a problem. My dad knows he has a problem and is just done dealing with it. Okay. Well, everybody here is adults, right? This really isn't your problem, right? This is your parents' kid. Well, they don't want to go to Al-Anon. I said, have you been to Al-Anon? Yes, I started going to Al-Anon. That's it. That is, in Al-Anon, they teach you the prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. My parents, and how are they handling my brother and his alcoholism. Those are things I can't change. The courage to change the things I can. I can change myself. I can start going to Al-Anon. I can move out, right? Because I'm an adult. I don't have to stay there and manage this situation, right? And I can love everybody just where they're at. I can love my parents just because they're parents and they're not ready to do tough love or any, and nobody says you have to, right? If they're happy or whatever in their misery, let them be. It's, they don't want to go to Al-Anon. The kid doesn't want to get sober, the guy, your brother. So they all seem fine. You're the one that's not fine. So you're going to go to Al-Anon and you're going to learn how to love your parents right where they're at, how to love your brother right where he's at. So then if someday they need help, they're going to go, oh my gosh, so-and-so went to Al-Anon and it changed his life, right? Let's go to Al-Anon. Or the brother who's drinking can say, gosh, you've been so supportive and loving and you haven't really said anything. I think I need help. Can you help me? Sure, let's call for help, right? At least you're in some kind of shape to be helpful. Okay, so that's how simple that was. That conversation last night was, perhaps you're going to go to Al-Anon and work on yourself and let everything else figure itself out. See, sometimes people contact me about what should I do about this, and most of the time it's none of your business. That's really true. Mind your own business. Which means, it doesn't mean put your head in the sand. It means, why is this bothering you? Do you need to go to Al-Anon? Is your own drinking bothering you? What's happening here? I don't know. You tell me. Why is it that we're talking about other people's situation? Unless they're under 18, it's none of your business. Even if they're your kid. Harsh. I pre-warned him before I told him. This is going to be harsh, I'm going to tell you. But how is this your problem? This is not your problem, right? Let's go to the solution. The solution is going to be an Al-Anon. Then if you need to tell your parents, hey, we need to do something. There's a lot of variables there. And I ask questions like, how old are your parents? Are you the caretaker for your parents? Or first thing I ask is he violent, right? There's a lot of questions there. But all of those questions can be answered in Al-Anon. You're going to go to Al-Anon and other people's stories are going to answer those questions. You're not going to need to contact a woman like me. I know it seems unique. Your situation seems unique, but really, it's all going to, once you get rid of the craziness in your own head, which is focusing on that one guy in the audience who won't laugh, okay, let's be real here. What can I change here? It says courage to change. Do you know why it says courage to change? Not courage to change someone else. You got to have courage to change yourself. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to change. If you change, I'll be better. And that's not the way it works. See, everyone can change and you're still going to be miserable. I have proof. I have a lot of people that I've worked with who have just been crazy about their kids or their husbands or wives getting sober. And they finally get sober and the person is miserable. They go to an even deeper, darker depression when their loved one gets sober. Why is that? If everything in your life you think is based on the fact that this person does what you want and gets sober, then why are you miserable? The problem might not be them. The problem might be you. And I'm not saying you're a problem. I'm saying the thing that you can change, the thing that needs to change is you. That's why it says courage to change. Because the change is not someone else. The change is you. Okay? And it's this easy. If you're watching me today and you're miserable and you're depressed and you're anxious and someone in your life is drinking and using, gambling, shopping, whatever they're doing, even if they're mentally ill and you are miserable, you need to change the one thing you can change, which is yourself. So you're going to ask for help. You can get your phone and Google Al-Anon near me, right? If you'd rather, Nar-Anon near me. It's going to pull it up. It might be in a little church down the street. It might be down the street from you. You don't even know. And it might be at like 12:15 today. And you can run over there and just walk in and sit down and listen. Okay? Just don't worry about what you're wearing. Don't worry about anything. Just go and say, I'm here to listen. And then go to like 10 meetings and listen before you make a decision. Because your mind is going to snap shut. It's not going to want to change. Okay? It's scary. Change is scary. That's why you need courage. Ask God for some courage to change. Okay? That if you have a mentally ill child or a loved one and you are alone in this, you can Google support for schizophrenics, families of schizophrenics, support near me, right? There's lots of resources right now. The beauty is it's all on Zoom, right? So support groups for family of schizophrenics, support groups of families with bipolar, whatever it is, Google it. Do something. Take the action. The action, I'm telling you, just take some action. Even just Googling it is going to make you feel not so victimized, okay? I know this was a long one today. I'm sorry. I'm on a roll. There's a lot of people that need help and a lot of people that are very, very unhappy. And they're unhappy because they think that the change has to happen out here. And it doesn't. If you change what's in here, it won't matter what's going on out there. You're going to be okay. You're going to have tapped into a power greater than yourself and a source of support. And you're going to be all right. I promise. Okay? And then the people in your life have a fighting chance. Right? They don't have a fighting chance if you're just focused on that. Because once they surface and they want help, you need to be in good shape to help them. All right? I love you all. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Sorry it was so long. Bye.